Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Friday's always the best day of the week because I know tomorrow I will be sleeping in. So
That's a
Friday
great
is
expectancy right
always
there.
good.
Yes, indeed. Forgive me. I'm trying to get some background audio and it doesn't seem like, oh, it's not supported. Interesting. It's a Chrome thing. Got it. All right. Anyway, learning something new about Melon. And for those that don't know, Melon app is our podcast choice, streaming choice. And they are also in partnership with Blast, and we're excited to be a part of the Melon family and vice versa. So before we go any further, here's the introduction to Melon's video. Are you tired with your boring podcast with no kind of flavor? You need some Melon in your life. Melon is a web-based recording streaming studio that enables creators like you to record content and go live with ease. Professional quality to invite your friends to your show. Now you can get with that, or you can get with this. Melon. No downloads required, tons of customizations. Record from desktop, laptop, and mobile. Join the revolution. Join Melon. melonapp.com. All right, and that's Melon. You can join Melon at melonapp.com. Try it out yourself. All righty. So, what did you feel in your gut, your spirit to speak about tonight?
Well, last week I thought we had like a really good discussion on I just drew a blank.
Visions, my friend. Having your vision.
Vision, right? Vision. I have no vision right now. Um, yeah, we had a really good discussion on vision, and so this week I was like, I think we should continue in that vein and talk a little bit about purpose. I do think that's something that people kind of struggle with,
Mhm.
finding purpose and meaning in life, and so I thought it might be a good discussion for today. So,
What's going on, Sorez? Welcome.
what's up, Soul Res?
And Sorez, before you chop me up because there's no music in the background, I decided to do the audible of using Firefox instead of Chrome. And of course, Melon is working on Firefox having the background music theme. Boom. Okay. So
Don't be trying to work out your technical issues during the podcast.
you're right. You're right. On with the show. So, um, because one of the things I was thinking is vision and purpose are almost synonymous. Would you agree?
Very closely related, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't say it's exactly the same thing, but very closely related to one another. Yeah.
Agree. And that's what I was noticing on trying to find things. They kind of seem to overlap with conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a guy named Mark Manson that I've seen a lot of his name when looking up purpose. Wonder
Uh-huh.
who he is. But he has some really good quotes, though, and I wanted to share those quotes along with some
Okay.
questions.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Here's one. Something about the social pressures of adolescence and professional pressures of young adulthood squeeze the passion out of us. We're taught that the only reason to do something is if we're somehow rewarded for it, and the transactional nature of the world inevitably stifles us and makes us feel lost or stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I really like that. I mean, of course, being a therapist, like you talk to people and It's sometimes, we spend so much time in our head that we cannot enjoy life.
Right.
We can't enjoy, um, the things that are already present in our life. And, sometimes we just spend more time focusing on what we think we don't have or problems and issues that we think we have versus the things that we do have, the blessings, the
Mm-hmm.
resources, the connection, like we don't think about that as much, we only think about what I think I don't have.
You're absolutely right. And I have more from him, which is I love this kind of profoundness.
Uh-huh.
Ulti- Ultimately, death is the only thing that gives us perspective on the value of our lives, because it's only by imagining your non existence that you can get a sense of what is most important about your existence. That's deep.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, well, I haven't died yet. So,
Clearly.
but I, very much remember, what I went through, mentally, emotionally, psychologically when my mom passed away.
Hmm.
And, before she passed away, there were moments where I thought about her not being here, and it would, bring me to tears. And, I would be wondering, like, how am I going to make it? How am I going to go on without, her presence? And, I, so I won't tell you about, that 2 year journey for me, but, one thing is certain is that, um, life energy specifically cannot be created nor destroyed. And so I think, what helped me to kind of go on and continue to have purpose was remembering what her life meant to me, um, and continues to mean to me. And I guess in a lot of ways, I continue to feel her presence. Um, but I guess from a spiritual standpoint, like I felt, the passing of a baton, like, not that I was necessarily going to continue her life, um, but in some ways be able to acknowledge like what was important to her and kind of incorporate that value in my life as well. So,
I got you.
hmm.
Erica Green says, "Hey, Tori."
Hey, Erica.
Shout outs in the balconies. All right. So Mr. Mark also says, now this one is an interesting statement.
Uh-huh.
Embrace embarrassment. Feeling foolish is part of the path to achieving something important, something meaningful. The more a major life decision scares you, chances are the more you need it to be doing it.
Yeah. Um, as you think about that, like it's kind of how do I process that?
And embarrassment is one of the things, especially black people, try to avoid like the plague.
Mhm. Mhm.
There, I look foolish. You know what I'm saying? So for him to say that, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, I get it.
I'm not even gonna go into all my embarrassing moments because it will be embarrassing all over again.
No, I got you.
But it does. I guess for the last few years and even now, like I continue to kind of look at this whole concept of ego and how we utilize ego and different meanings of ego. But sometimes we're so invested in what other people think and feel and how other people view us. And and I'm not saying that that doesn't have some value and importance, but it's not of the utmost importance, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's so important for us to be able to assess value to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to tell anybody I'm perfect at it. I mean, because I'm not. I mean, and I mean, I've had my down days and I mean, in the pit. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you don't know how you're going to get out of that space, but, um, ego, you know, I think has a lot to do with how we appropriate value in our life, so I get where he's coming from, like embarrassment, because, um, you know, when you're embarrassed, it makes you look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes it makes you look at yourself in a different way and to
Right.
understand your own humanness. So,
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. So, everybody, before we go on, definitely feel free to answer any questions you may have or any comments you wish to speak. But also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe onto our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our shows that are happening every day of the week. Sunday will be the next day that we're going to be having something going on, and that starts this Sunday. So, we'll be doing 7 days a week. Oh boy. Let's see here. This comment is very true regarding me. You're not going to fix the world's problems by yourself, but you can contribute and make a difference. And that feeling of making a difference is ultimately what's most important for your own happiness and fulfillment. So D Ray says, I think God can show us our own purpose, but we are allowed what others don't see to gauge our own bravery. Hmm.
hmm.
Respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I think God does show us, and a long time ago, I used to feel like we only had one purpose,
Hmm.
but I no longer feel that way. I think we have many. I think we
Hmm.
have several. I mean, um, and I think it's continuous. I don't think it's just, you do this one thing, and I used to feel like, oh, well, there should be like this one thing that you have all this passion for and you pursue that.
Hmm.
But I think at different times and different intervals in life, can have some impact on what our purpose is.
Indeed. And I believe and agree with what you're saying. Some purposes may be bigger than others, but it'll be more than just one purpose in your life.
Right. Exactly.
Let's see here. Discover what you're passionate about in life and what matters to you is a full contact sport, a trial by fire process. None of us know exactly how we feel about an activity until we're actually doing the activity. That's
Yeah.
fact.
And I think we kind of sort of touched on that a little bit last week.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I think we were saying like sometimes you don't know what you can do until you do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, and, we allow different things to hinder us or create barriers. But, when you step out there and do it, that's when you figure out I could do it, and a lot of times I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
I was talking to my class on Monday, and I've said this to clients too, is that, where's this crystal ball?
Hey, Miss Carla.
Hey, Carla, where's this crystal ball, that you think you're supposed to have that's going to tell you, that's going to outline everything in your life. Like it doesn't happen that way. So,
Right.
just live, just step out there and do the dang thing, even if you're scared.
True act of bravery. Indeed. Alrighty. So that was pretty much the comments that he had that I really thought were great. But
Mm-hmm.
here's some of the questions that I've found in regards to purpose.
Okay.
How do I know when I found my purpose?
Um, well, I mean, I don't think I can like outline that for everybody, but if it's something that you have thought about, dreamed about, um, something that has come in your path many, 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 many times, something that you are skilled at, something that you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be like this great magnanimous thing, and Rama falls from heaven, and it's like, I don't. It's not like that,
Right.
but it might be something that we do on a day-to-day basis and we don't even realize it, and maybe there's other ways that we can do that. Um, but I think I shared a little bit last week that, working with people, psychology, and, I started, thinking about those things at a very early age. Um, I remember, conversations that I had with my mom that, still to this day, I was like, wow, those were really very adult conversations where, we're like asking why this and why that and why people act like this, and, different things regarding behavior. So that started like really, really early in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it was like a window into what my purpose is, and again, not just one, but several. And I see that stream throughout my life. I don't, so I think it can happen in different ways. It can be a discussion, it can be something that you see, it can, it happens in different ways. And so um it can, be discussions that you have in therapy or with a mentor or with a loved one, somebody that you care about. um and when we think about it, we've probably, functioned in that way at one point or another. So um I don't know, I think purpose is discovered in many ways. So
It could be, I wouldn't say a lifelong discovery, but definitely as you walk through life to discover it. So it's not like
yeah,
something that can be answered easily.
yeah, absolutely.
Here's another one.
Hmm.
How do I know if I'll like living my purpose? That's a
Well, I
late.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I think it will be something that you truly enjoy. Something that's heartfelt. Something that that you don't. I don't think we would find purpose as a chore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's some enjoyment that we get out of it. There's a personal level of enjoyment and satisfaction and fulfillment that
Mm-hmm.
that comes. What's over I say?
Yes, indeed. Let me bring it up here. Sorry. He said, question, do you think that those multiple purpose may never be known by you because they are for someone else? Meaning, me following my path to help someone going down theirs. I have fallen the vision of someone else to help
Mhm.
their vision be their fruition. Hey, Miss Lady. Um,
Hey, sis.
purpose, purpose. I'm not sure. What do you feel on that?
Mm, well, let me read the question. Do you think that multiple purposes may never be known by you because they are for someone else? Meaning, me following my path will help. So, well,
Anything's possible.
I don't know that I know the answer to that question. I think that I think there's a possibility that we may not know all of our purposes. I think that's possible. I mean, especially if we allow other people or other situations and circumstances to derail us. I mean, I think that's possible.
Right.
But I know for a fact that, some of the people, including my sister, that God has brought into my life has given me purpose,
Mm-hmm.
that it has enhanced um, things that I already knew on a spiritual level, So, um, different connections, including yourself and, other people, like it has provided illumination regarding my purpose and the direction that I'm going.
Sounds like
So,
fun. Okay. Now, here's a good one too.
mhm.
How do I choose between two paths or options?
Well, we're not robots,
True.
and we're not forced to go any particular direction. I mean, um, I think it's based on whatever you make a priority, and
Mhm.
I don't think there's a right or wrong to that, um, if you have, passion for a certain thing, or working with people, or working in an organization, or even creating your own organization. Like, it's whatever you think that priority should be, and whatever you feel more passionate about.
Mhm.
I don't think there's necessarily a right or a wrong to that.
Yeah. Agreed. Um, what if my life purpose changes? What if my life purpose changes? Even
More
sounds.
than you it will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially if we feel like with certain things, there's already been a fulfillment. I mean, again, kind of like along the same lines of what we talked about last week is, you know, um, certain things that I wrote down, and certain things that I asked God for in particular have been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm actively working and operating in my purpose.
Right.
So, and that's why I think that there are several, because as we continue to go on and move forward in life, there's going to be other purposes. It's not like, oh, well, I wrote all this stuff down and God's done it, and so I'm out. Holla. you know
Right.
no, it's like, now I'm asking God, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And not that I stopped doing the things that I'm doing now, but I'm still asking the question, what's next?
Right. Indeed. Um, how can I make time for my life purpose?
You have to. I mean, you don't have to, but one thing I told myself a long time ago is, I don't want to leave this earth until I have fulfilled the mission.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever God sent me here for, I don't want to leave without fulfilling that.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. So, um, I don't know. What was the last part of what you said?
The what if my life purpose changes?
It will change. It definitely will change. It will change. And I think we should expect that.
Or is I'm sorry, it was how can I make time for my life purpose? We have to make time.
Yeah, we have to make time. Like, I mean, a lot of times, I feel like we make excuses. I know I do. Procrastination, and I've heard other people say procrastination has been an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, laziness. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather lay down. I'd rather watch TV.
Yep.
I'd rather do something that I enjoy doing rather than, moving on the things that I know I'm supposed to be moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, and procrastination really is a derivative of fear.
Mm.
Even when, I mean, I've talked to a few people this week who, I mean, a few months ago, I was listening to them and like a little bit of complaining and why God hadn't answered certain things. And now, just a little while later, just a few months later, it's like boom, boom, boom. God has answered all of those things. And it's like, and it's sort of, this oh shit response, like,
Mm-hmm.
God did it, like, excuse me for cussing, but God did it. It's like, yeah, he did. You realize that this thing is real. Like, this thing we call manifestation is really real. Like, and I really experienced it myself this year. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? Like, keep moving. Don't stop. Keep moving. Actually, real quick, one of the things that has come up a lot here lately, um, I'm gonna read this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Imposter syndrome.
We talked about
And it's like, God starts doing some things, and he's answering these things that you've been asking for, and all of a sudden you start to feel like, is this really for me?
right.
Did you mean to drop that package at my door? Did you? And God is like, yeah, I mean, let me look back and see what you prayed for. you know so imposter syndrome, I'm going to read this: the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skill.
Mm.
So it's like all of a sudden you start experiencing this anxiety when God starts answering your prayers, or your desires. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, because that is something that tends to happen, you know, when we start moving in our purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're moving and things are changing and we're experiencing growth, you know, we're experiencing financial stability, we're experiencing success, we're experiencing, other levels, and I'm not saying that success isn't just based on what we have, but it's also based on how we feel about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So anyway, just wanted to highlight that real quick.
No, I want to piggyback off of that because we had that discussion, I think, a couple of months ago, where
Uh-huh.
I got hired with said company,
Uh-huh.
making the most money I've ever made before, and
Mm-hmm.
given a title that I got intimidated by because I was like, I don't know. And it's like, if God gave it to you, you got it. And it was a struggle overall because, you let this beat you. It's very easy. you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's a real thing right there. That imposter syndrome is nasty.
Oh yeah.
It can whip you if you let it. Let's put it that way. But the main thing that I did is I just kept going forward, and in that going forward, God's given me grace and favor with those above me, and they were all helpful to help me through the path. And I'm doing good, and I'm still here surviving and moving on to bigger and better things. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're at a halfway mark, but before we start the Blast Artist of the Week, Therapist Tori, I want you to take the opportunity to tell people about your website and how you can help.
Okay. Yes, I can help. No, my website is www.thedorseytherapy.com. And so I do psychosocial evaluations. I provide therapy for adults. I also provide couples therapy and also do some adolescent therapy as well. So if you are in need of any of those services, please let me know. Please contact me.
There you go. And she is a part of the Blast family, but she is here to help you in any means. And we all are, but she's there to help you in that aspect. So for now, the Blast Artist of the Week is this really wonderful gentleman. His name is Gregory Lester, and this song is called YDS. Let's check it out.
See, you be looking at me, and you think you know my life, but you don't know. KG. Yeah.
You don't see that I grind, you don't see all the times. Had to get in the word, just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. Glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine. You don't see that I grind, you don't see all the times. Had to get in the word, just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. The glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine. You don't see that I grind, almost lost my mind, almost lost my life. Thank God for my mom, she was praying in prayers, that's what kept me alive. Went through stage of depression, music's all on my mind. Started doubting myself, is my music that weak? Did I lose my anointing? Do I even need to speak? The enemy kept playing mind games with my mind, man. Ain't no way that you'll ever survive, man. They most high, man. Had to read James chapter 2 verse 19. Had to change my perception now, but I don't care if you don't like me. Now they only see you at the top of the mountain. They don't never see the climb up. No, they don't never see the climb up. Hey, you don't see that I grind. You don't see all the times. Had to get in the word just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. Glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine. You don't see that I grind. You don't see all the times. Had to get in the word just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. The glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine. You don't know that I ain't perfect. My life is like a circus, don't know what's behind the curtains. Oh, but I know one thing's for certain. I am not forgotten, and I know I have a purpose. See, I was always told that everything I go through is really not for me, it's for you. So I won't be afraid of anything, as long as God by my side, I can handle anything, yeah. Had to read James chapter 2 verse 19. Had to change my perception now, but I don't care if you don't like me. Now they only see you at the top of the mountain. They don't never see the climb up. No, they don't never see the climb up. Hey, you don't see that I grind. You don't see all the times. Had to get in the word just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. Glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine. You don't see that I grind. You don't see all the times. Had to get in the word just to reset my mind. All the pain in my rhymes, paying off in due time. The glory ain't for myself, but I want Jesus to shine.
That's my boy, Gregory Lester with YDS, which is You Don't See. I tell you, that was a great song. He's a good dude, too. Were you able to hear it?
Me? No.
Yes. I didn't think so. Strangely
No,
enough,
I'm gonna have to go listen to the podcast later so I can listen to the artist of the week.
I don't know why it does that. People who aren't using headphones don't hear it. So I don't know. I'll
Well, if I use my earbuds, then can I hear it?
you should be. You're without them.
Yeah, I'm not using it right now. Yeah.
No
So
worries.
I'll try that next time, see if that works.
Gotcha. But the cool thing is, Gregory Lester will be on one of our shows that shows every Saturday, which is called The Liftoff, with my two wonderful people, D-Rated producer and Miss Lady. They will be on tomorrow at 12 Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central. And check them out. They are talking to, they're talking to my man, Kaiju X. That guy is amazing. You guys will have a good time checking them out. Anyway, back to where we were. How do you know when you mastered your purpose? When you did.
Right. When you're gone. I don't think purpose is something that needs to be mastered. It is what it is, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, oftentimes I feel like we have to, get away from this idea of perfection because perfection doesn't exist. I'm sure that each of us could define perfection based on our own personal view of what it is, but in essence, it's that still makes it something that isn't perfect, So
Right.
I don't think that purpose has to be mastered, We didn't define purpose, and so
you got
I want to define it really, really quick.
Sure.
So purpose is a noun and a verb. And so the noun definition is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And then the verb is have as one's intention or objective. So purpose is a thing and an action at the same time. So I like that.
Indeed. Alrighty. So last one, as far as these, I have more questions, but as far as these, where do I start? How do I find my purpose?
Well, the internet is a wonderful thing. So I looked some stuff up.
The power of Google compels you.
This is actually on the Very Well Mind website is where I found this information. And so this is 7 tips for finding your purpose in life. And the first one is donate time, money, or talent. And it sounds like something that they say in church, your time, your money, and your talent. An organization or an activity that's important to you, given your money or given your talent or your skill. That's number one. And number two is listening to feedback. So here it says it can be hard to recognize the things that you feel passionate about sometimes. After all, you probably like to do many different things, and the things that you love to do may have become ingrained in your life, and you don't realize how important those things are. Fortunately, other people might be able to give you some insight. There's a good chance you're already displaying your passion and purpose to those around you without even realizing it. So it may be some things that you're already doing, That's a part of your purpose and you don't even realize that you're already doing it. Okay. You might choose to reach out to people and ask them what reminds them of you or what they think of you when you enter their mind. Or you might take note when someone pays you a compliment or makes an observation about you. Write those observations down and look for patterns. When people think of you as a great entertainer, or they say you have a passion for helping the elderly, hearing others say what they notice about you might reinforce some of the passions you've already been engaging in. So that's number 2. Number 3, surround yourself with positive people, mentors, or people that speak into your life. That's going to, give you a lot of input when it comes to purpose. Number 4, start conversations with new people. Sometimes you can have a conversation with a stranger and they will drop something and you be like, oh my God, that's it right there. Let's see, that was number 4. And number 5, explore your interests. If you don't know what your passions are, or you don't know what you like to do, you might have to try different things to understand, is there a purpose in this for me? And number 6, consider injustices that bother you. I was talking to a young lady today and, I could tell there was like a certain theme that really interests her. And I could tell, this is definitely going to be something that's a part of her purpose. And lastly, number 7, discover what you love to do. It says here, on the other end of the spectrum, simply thinking about what you truly love to do can help you find your purpose as well. Do you absolutely love musical theater? Your skills might be best put to use in a way that brings live performances to children who can benefit from exposure to the arts. Is analyzing data something that you actually find fun and enjoyable? Any number of groups could find that skill to be an invaluable asset. Consider what type of skills, talents, and passions you bring to the table. Then brainstorm on how you might turn that passion into something meaningful to you. I see Erica, positive people is very important. Yes, that's true. Yes, stay indeed. Away from negative folk.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Miss Lady said, should you ever let someone take you away from your purpose?
Yeah, I would say no. Under no circumstances. I know that we can be sidetracked by, different things in life and but no one should be able to interrupt what God has for you.
I was going to say that'd be kind of hard. You would have to literally take that person over to rob their purpose from them. I mean, that's my assumption. I don't know how true that can be.
Well, I guess the way I think about it is that, we have very important people in our life and people that we love and care about. And even if it's, it could be a coworker, sometimes we can allow people to impede us at times.
That is true. Depending on who that person is, they could take your attention away. These are interesting questions in regards to purpose, but they're not specifically saying, purpose, but it deals with purpose. Let's put it that way. Like, for instance, what are you willing to struggle for? Only if it's a purpose and it's in your heart, you're willing to make those sacrifices. And I'm very well aware of that.
Yeah, there's a book, and I'm gonna say the title. I don't want people to think I'm on here trying to cuss, but
How y'all Texans talk anyway.
but there's a book called Unbook Yourself, and it's the author is Gary John Bishop, and one of the really important questions is, am I willing? There's things that we want to do, and I apply this to me too, because I just talked about procrastination, yada yada. But there's things that we want to do, but sometimes we have to ask, well, if that's what you really want, are you willing to do what it takes to get it?
Right.
So, am I willing?
No. And just for the record, you're clear from being labeled a cusser because you're just naming the book.
Okay. Thank you. I need that pass.
There you go. What did your 8-year-old self love doing?
Playing with Barbies. I don't think that has anything to do.
But nevertheless, you did it without any reserve or any hindrance. You just full bore, boom, dolls, and just got into it.
Same maybe that was like my first love with decor or something,
I wouldn't doubt that. Here's a statement. Remember the joys of doing things for the fun of it. No reward, no impressing anyone, just for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get too many of those. What makes you forget to eat? Think about it. Shopping. I thought you were gonna say buying.
I do find purpose in shopping.
I was just gonna say buying sneakers because I seen that Foot Locker you got. Plenty of sneakers. No, IT is my first love. I've been a gadget guy forever. So when it comes to anything, like even with Blast, I will just work and work and work and forget eating and all that. Come on, sneakers and shopping. Erica backs you on that.
Well, I'm very much like a quality time person, and I noticed like that's what I give. I give my time, I give myself. So I think that and I think that's always been the case for the most part, throughout my life. So
fair enough. Duly noted. When you are so immersed in an activity that time passes without you realizing it, psychologists call this flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, there's some things that you're just like, God, when is this gonna end?
Right. Right.
And like even with our podcast, we're just like, whoa, where did time go? We just got started or whatever. So flow. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to save the world?
One artist at a time.
That's one start.
I'm just kidding. Shoot, one conversation at a time, one expression of love at a time,
One moment of kindness at a time, which is what we need more of. Agreed. You may not end world hunger, but you can make a difference. Instead of focusing too much on finding yourself, lose yourself into something larger.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's understanding that what we do every single day really does have an impact on not only yourself, but everyone else around you,
Miss Sylvia. Hey, Miss Sylvia. Are passion and purpose the same thing in your opinion?
I think it's connected. I definitely think it's connected. I think what you're passionate about, has a lot to do with what your purpose is or purposes are. So I definitely think it's connected. I think I don't think that purpose is without passion. I'll put it like that.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Solrez says Tori is coming for glasses title, LOL.
What? So, Rez, what you talking about?
Who knows? Okay, let's see what else we got here. If you knew you were going to die 1 year from today, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered?
Well, I want to be remembered for who I am and what I gave, it's not definitely not about brick and mortar, but, I would want to be remembered for the lives that I've touched, and those who have touched my life as well. I mean, every situation, including when I worked with teenagers in treatment. I mean, it was always a reciprocal process. Like, it wasn't just me rubbing off on them, but it was also them rubbing off on me. And they gave to me just as much as I gave to them. So, I feel like that's what I would want to be remembered for. My kids especially. I mean, I would want them to remember like the things that we've talked about and remember their own purpose and value.
Miss Erica said, "Not me getting teary-eyed." It's funny. I didn't think much of Blast, but at the same token, I didn't put Blast in a box when we started this 2 years ago. It was at the peak of COVID, to the fact that we had the opportunity to build something with the least distraction because of it was COVID. We put it all in and we built it. And then when we launched it of June last year, it was just a site. None of this, no radio station, no record label that we're working on, none of that. And it just blossomed. But it took the first step of stepping out, not even knowing what the heck we're really doing, but just knew that we had a dream, a purpose, if you will, and wanting to help people. And the beauty of it is I'm still meeting awesome people around the world without even leaving my room. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's amazing. It is amazing. And there's a lot of wonderful people out there. If people would just take the time to be kind, give love, the world literally is your oyster. It can come to you because of the internet.
Right.
You don't have to travel anywhere. Yeah, you don't have to travel anywhere. You can get everything around the world right there in front of you. So
yeah, and I think that ties into also, what we were saying last week. If you build it, they will come. I mean, when we think about some of the even biblical stories, Noah, who built the ark, he didn't know, like, why am I building this thing? I know that this is what God told me to do. But sometimes we don't find the full potential or the full purpose of a thing until we create it.
Right.
And like you said, with your company, with my company, I mean, is still building, is still being developed. You know, we don't know the full impact until we begin on that journey. So
the coolest part is that we had the opportunity to partnership again, which I love, because I would rather be in business with people I know, of course, but even that's a double-edged sword in some cases. Friendships and business. Well, anyway, so Miss Tori, we are almost at the close. What would you like to tell the crowd before we roll out of here?
Well, just like the note that I looked up indicate, I mean, I would want people to begin to reflect on, you know, some of these gifts and talent and skill, and, you know, maybe even write down the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, and the things that come easy to you, and the things that people have shared and given you feedback on. That has a lot to do with what your purpose is. So just want to kind of highlight those points. So
let me read what D-Ray says. Crazy thing about purpose. We may not live long enough to see the full impact. The fact that we started something may be the most important thing. Agreed.
Because we're still living off the things that people started a long time ago.
Right.
The purpose continues. The fulfillment continues. It doesn't stop.
Yep.
So that's very true.
So everyone, we thank you so much for taking the time. See, I thought I was going to do good without one hiccup.
I know, we almost made it a whole podcast.
Anyway, I thank you guys for taking the time to come hang out with us. We appreciate your comments. Remember, if you're not a part of our channel, definitely go ahead and like. Thank you very much, Solrez. Definitely like, comment, and share, please. And also join our channel. Every day, there's a podcast that we're running. And if you'd like to be a part of the podcast, definitely you can go to our Facebook page. We have a Blast Music 247 Facebook page, or even our now hot Blast Radio 247 page on Facebook. Freaking Night, this is not your show. Go somewhere else. Sorry, that's a different. Freaking Night, this is the mature channel. We save all the other stuff for later. But anyway, he was saying, been lurking a little while. Very interesting show. We'll keep an eye out next time. Thanks for the homework, Tori. LOL. That's my guy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, and then they add to the show. Appreciate you guys. Well, that definitely feel like we're achieving some purpose up in this mug right now. D-Ray said, come get your help into that. Hey.
Oh.
International. Never mind. I'm not even going to explain it.
We're going in a whole different direction.
Yes, indeed. We all going to be needing therapy after explaining all this madness. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you next week. That's Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anytime. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central. This is a sinking ship real fast.
Yes. Good night, y'all.
Be easy. Be safe. See y'all next week.